All right, folks, I want to talk about what happened today on Capitol Hill, of course, the whole issue of the hearings for the Attorney General who Donald Trump is recommending to take the place of Jeff Sessions, of course. William Barr, who served under President Bush, has been nominated to be the next Attorney General of the United States. He served as AG for 2 years in the first Bush administration, President George H.W. Bush. Lots of questions today with regards to Bob Mueller and his probe, but also the issue of criminal justice came up. And here was Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey.
Do you believe now, 30, 40 years of mass incarceration, targeted disproportionately towards African Americans, harsher sentences, disproportionately represented in the criminal justice system, with the American Bar Association talking about once you've been incarcerated for even a low-level drug crime, there are 40,000 collateral consequences that impact your life. Jobs, Pell Grants, loans from banks. Do you think, just yes or no, that this system of mass incarceration has disproportionately benefited African American communities? Yes or no, sir?
I think the reduction in crime has since 1992, but I think that the heavy drug penalties, especially on crack and other things, have harmed the black community. The incarceration rates have harmed the black community.
And I would just conclude to my chairman and partner, thank you, sir, on this, because I'm really grateful for this bipartisan group, the Heritage Foundation. I've spoken at the AEI conference, just found such great partnership, but I worry about the highest law enforcement officer in the land and some of the language I still hear you using that goes against the data, and that you're going to be expected to oversee a justice system that you and I both know needs the faith and confidence of communities that has dramatically lost that confidence because of implicit racial bias. And the DOJ, and I'll give you a chance to respond, the DOJ itself has said, mandated implicit racial bias training, and I hope that's something that you will agree to do. But this is the thing I'll conclude on, is that we live on a planet Earth where you can tell the most about a nation by who they incarcerate. In Turkey, they incarcerate journalists. Thank God we don't do that here, even though they've been called the enemy of the people. In Russia, they incarcerate political opponents. I'm glad we don't do that, even though with chance of lock her up. But you go into the American criminal prisons, sir, and you see the most vulnerable people. You see over-stigmatized mentally ill people clogging our system. You see over-stigmatized addicted people clogging our system. You see a system where, as Brian Stevenson says, it treats you better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent. And you see disproportionately, overwhelmingly for drug crimes, African Americans and Latinos being incarcerated. The importance of your job, and I'll ask you this last question, because you haven't met with me yet, you've given that courtesy to others, would you please meet with me in my office so you and I can have a heart-to-heart on the urgency, the cancer on the soul of our country's criminal justice system is the disproportionate impact of that system on those vulnerable communities, including women, over 80% of whom the women we incarcerate are survivors of sexual trauma. Can you and I sit down and have a longer conversation than these 10 minutes will allow on this issue?
I'd very much welcome that, Senator.
All right, then. Well, let's talk about it with Maisha Brayton, Director of the Criminal Justice Division, Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Maisha, we're already hearing Democrats who are saying, look, this guy is experienced, he's professional, he's great, he's going to make a great AG. But the Lawyers Committee believes he should not be confirmed. Why?
There are very serious problems with Mr. Barr's record, and I really don't think that any of the senators today took the time to really dig into his record. There are more than enough statements out of his own mouth, out of his own pen, where he has made clear that he believes there are two choices in criminal justice. Either you build more prisons or you have more crimes. And that is not the type of person that we need leading the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice plays such a huge role in setting criminal justice policy across the country. Other state attorney generals follow DOJ's lead. So having someone at the helm who has been consistent during his 14 months as Attorney General, during his work with ALEC, the organization that was mentioned in Ava DuVernay's documentary 13th, that has been a proponent of three strikes laws, mandatory minimum sentences, privatization of prisons, that agenda was set by William Barr, and no one has taken the time to dig in on his record, and I think that's unfortunate. I think that does a disservice to the American people who are looking at not only civil rights organizations, but their senators to dig into that record and hold William Barr accountable for his own beliefs and his own policies.
What other issues should be raised by the Senate in these confirmation hearings?
I think the Senate needs to dig in on William Barr's fundamental belief that the answer to the criminal justice system is building more prisons. He is someone who is a proponent of the theory of incapacitation. He believes that you have to incapacitate individuals who commit crimes, and that incapacitation comes through longer sentences. Those longer sentences require the building of more prisons. That is fundamentally flawed. Evidence has demonstrated, research has demonstrated that that is flawed. There is no correlation between the length of sentences and deterrence of crime. There is no correlation between building more prisons, putting more money into the prison system, and actually improving public safety. No one has delved into this. William Barr has been very clear that he even questions the concept of first offenders. He has said on the record, he has said in writing, in the 24 recommendations for improving criminal justice, something that he doubled down on in his case for mass incarceration, that he believes that first-time offenders really aren't first-time offenders because they've probably had probation before, or they've probably committed crimes that they hadn't been caught for before. So he suggested that first-time offenders are actually hardened criminals. And this record has been consistent, not only when he was Attorney General, not only when he was working for ALEC, when he left the Department of Justice, but as recent as 2015 when he opposed the Sentencing Reform Corrections Act, and in 2018 when he basically gave a shout out to Jeff Sessions saying that he was doing an outstanding job as Attorney General. And I don't think the Senate has done a good job at all of digging in on those issues.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. A lot of us, of course, are focused on getting ourselves healthy and well in this new season, 2019. Some folks want to do it for weight. Some want to do it to improve their golf game, like yours truly. Others want to do it just to feel better as well. And so, how do we get better? How do we improve our health? Well, one of the ways is actually through a cleanse. And of course, the folks at D-Herbs Full Body Cleanse, they have partnered with us. I'm actually doing it right now. This is the third time I've done one of their cleanses. And you look at all the abuse that we do to our bodies, the food that we eat, processed food, fried foods, all of that. What this does is literally clean your system. All that toxic buildup that drags you down, that also can be dangerous for you later. This helps you feel better, also gives you more energy as well. Now, if you want to lose some of those stubborn pounds, you can do so through the full body cleanse. And so what I want you to do is go to dherbs.com, and use the promo code ROLAND. Yes, ROLAND for a discount when you check out. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.